Okay, talking about barriers to entry, economies of scale, and brand loyalty. So when it comes to airlines and barrier to entry, a huge one is huge, high capital cost. So, especially from a manufacturing standpoint, it costs tons of money to build an airplane. That is a huge barrier to entry because you got to have a ton of capital to start building the airplane and then to get it into the hands of a carrier or to someone that will represent this aircraft. And you have to have a lot of money and possibly be able to eat it if it doesn't work out one or two times, or just all the like hoops that you have to jump through in between making it and then getting someone to buy it or be the one that represents this Boeing 7 whatever, that kind of thing. And then access to airport slots was one that I found interesting. So you don't really think about this, but there's minimal slots on an airport, like minimal gates that an airplane can pull into, and that basically they're just like representing this airline. American is just representing this slot that day or that time or this year or however that works. So there's minimal spots that they can get into. That's a big barrier of entry because once they're filled up, they don't need any more, and then you don't have anywhere to go, so you don't have any people to pick up and take places, so you're not making money. How that plays into and then I'll talk about my personal experience first. So I would say I've worked in the service industry a lot with it when it comes to like restaurants and stuff, but I'd rather talk about my personal like entrepreneurial experience being self-employed in different ways. So I ran a car detailing company in high school and then lawn care landscaping company in high school. When it comes to lawn care landscaping, the biggest barrier to entry on that is the market saturation. It's crazy. Like coming from a town around 220,000 people, there's freaking over 100 lawn care companies. Like it's crazy. There's a ton. And so that's a huge market saturation problem that it's hard. Like if I want to just as a small business or like owner operator situation want to get into that industry, I come in with the challenge for when it comes to marketing, just getting the word out that I want to do this, that I want to get customers. And then you have to really compete with prices when it comes to, there's a ton of people, they're already like set in stone on their prices, or customers are like happy with there's so many factors that play into it. Like these people are on a payment plan, or it's direct deposit, or it's whatever. And then there's just so many challenges when it comes into like market saturation because people are already used to something else, and you have to compete with those prices, the productivity, the value of the service that you're giving, all that kind of stuff. So car detailing, barrier of entry on that. Also like not so much, but kind of market saturation nowadays, at least, is becoming a lot more popular to start a car detailing company because it's really easy. I mean, a barrier of entry kind of can be like equipment, more so when you get really specialized in equipment. Talking about like high quality products, a bunch of chemicals, a bunch of different machines. When you get like really into it, you're doing like luxury cars and stuff. That stuff can cost a lot of money. But barrier to entry, like real entry, just getting baseline kind of stuff, is actually really easy. I started a car detailing business with like less than $600 probably, and that's really just because I bought a pressure washer that was like $450. So overall, it's probably, you can do it for less than $500 in general if you do it easily. So economies of scale. I had to like kind of understand this better and like simplify it a little bit to understand it. Sorry, this video is getting long, but I'm like really enjoying talking about this. Economies of scale can just be looked at as cost advantages that comes with being bigger. So that makes more sense in my head. So when it comes to airline, that means like established airlines. So they have a ton of planes, and then a ton of places that say, hey, you're gonna use a ton of airports that are like, hey, you're gonna use our slot and you're gonna fly people for us. That all the costs of that can be spread across all the different flights, all the different slots they're filling, all the money that they're making across the board. so a large number of passengers are and flights are paying for the bulk purchasing of all the things they need, like fuel and contracts and maintenance and all that kind of stuff. So brand loyalty is passengers tend to stick with the airline they like. So I can speak for myself. Like growing up, we always, when I would go somewhere, a lot of times it was Southwest or American. And then it comes to like bad stuff happens. Nobody wants to fly Delta or United sometimes because they're like ripping people off of planes and all that kind of stuff. So the publicity of the brands is a huge thing too when it comes to brand loyalty and barrier of entry. Um, and so, yeah, I've talked enough. I could keep talking about this a lot. So.